How's everyone doing today? My name is Aaron Gabriel with Gabriel Trading. Here, let's get back to our 3K to 25K challenge. And here is another day. We had another good day today. We're in earnings season, right? So these last 2 weeks have been crazy. Last week was the bank earnings. This week we have some of the top tech companies hitting earnings. Tesla fell off. Amazon fell off, dropped by about 2%. They killed it with revenue, but they fell off when it came to our earnings per share. So they didn't beat earnings, but they did beat revenue. But you know, when you lose out on earnings, you still most likely take a hit. So Amazon definitely took a hit. But at the same time, we have China trade negotiations. That's been sparked back up. We should be hearing something on Monday. So let's see, Monday the 29th, I believe. We should definitely see a rally in the market. You know, every time the trade war is brought back up, everyone gets excited again. But today, let's talk about the two plays that I took in our small account. I do have to apologize because I did say that I was going to do shares only on this account, but there were so many good plays today, and I didn't want to just pass up on the plays just because I didn't have the funds. So I used options, and as you guys know, options is an alternative when you can't get a sizable position because you can't afford 100 shares of Apple or 100 shares of Netflix with a $3,000 account. From time to time, I will resort to options. And basically, I took two option plays here. I basically have Netflix calls. So Netflix basically took a 10% hit on earnings. So now they were down to about the low 308s, 300 actually. It was down to the low 300s. We all know Netflix is good for it. Netflix is a good company. And I expected it to fill the gap. Matter of fact, let's look at that. So let's get into it. I actually bought calls expiring August 16th. So I basically have a good 2 weeks of expirations on these calls. I'm already up. But let's see how next week treats us. If I get about $500 to $1,000, I'll probably pull profits there. But let's look at the charts. Let's get to the charts. So looking at Netflix. So this is basically what we saw. As usual, start off with the 3-year, 1-day chart. So this is what happened here. Earnings hit. Oh, sorry about that. Zoom in. So earnings hit. Boom. Then we have this huge gap down, this 10% gap down, leaving us at around 328. Then a couple days after that, we have Netflix basically dropping to a low of 305 at this point. And once it hits 305, perfect price action. See how beautiful this price action is? So from this point on, let me get my drawing tool here, right? We have a perfect double confirmation here. So we have basically Netflix reaching down on the 22nd, touching 305.87, getting rejected all the way back up to 311. And then on this day, sellers came back for round 2, came down hard, but could not break that 305.87 level. Then next day, we basically didn't even go below the close of the previous day. We basically bounced off the close of the previous day and started going up upwards here. So what I saw, let's go to the 5-minute. Let's get a little bit more in detail. So what I saw here, boom, right? And the 5-minute gives you that insight. It gives you that more detail that you actually want. So here, it was actually multiple touches on this day. Boom, touched once, touched twice, couldn't break, and then basically started trading sideways. Then we went to the next day. Same thing, like I said, it broke previous close. Then went back down to that level of 305. Could not break again. Tried again. Could not break again. So at this point, we're feeling confident, right? In the aftermarket, you see that it tries to break down, but didn't stay. Went back above that 305 level. So this is where the confidence is building. Being that I'm still working the small account, I didn't get in on this day. So I used this day as my confirmation day. So that day is basically that first green day there that made that beautiful bullish engulfing candle. Well, sorry, not bullish engulfing. That is, oh, how can I forget this pattern? I'll put it down in the description. It's not coming to me right now, the name of the pattern, but this was beautiful price action here. My first day confirmation going up strong, all the way from 310 to 318, a high of 319, coming back to around the 317 level. Next day, I felt good about it, and then I got in. On my larger account, I actually got in on this day really early. Actually, I think I took this trade on my larger account, but on my smaller account, I waited for this day. I actually did 2 entries. The first entry, I got in. Then on this next day, let's go back on the 5-minute here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have you guys guessing. All right, so I got in on this day. Once it touched, it went, tried to break the previous close, didn't come back, came back above. Let's zoom in here so you can see. So boom, that's this line right here symbolizes the previous close. So the previous close of the previous day. And as you can see, boom, price tries to break down, didn't, comes back up, tries again, got rejected again, and then from there it just starts lifting to the higher levels. So I basically got in. On all of my accounts, I took this same trade, right? And then we wrote it. And then what we were looking for was it to break this 329 level. So 329, 330 was our last level until basically that gap filled. So now we know Netflix is basically confirming that it's filling the gap. And what do I mean by that? What gap is it filling? So this gap right here. As you can see from earnings, we had a gap down. So we had a resistance level here, a support level here, because this is basically with a gap down. When it tried to go up, couldn't go above, got rejected, and then went down and then maintained the middle of that candle there. So now that we broke 330, we can see that Netflix is basically working on filling this gap. So I basically have a price target of 350. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to be honest, the next thing I have to be worried about, and I won't even really say this, but this, we could consider it 336. As you can see, look at that, perfect. 336 could be the next level we have to beat, right? So let me just change the properties of this line. 20, just to remind myself on Monday. So this level here may be what we have to beat. Wait, sorry, I just realized it created too many lines. Remove. Okay, perfect. So that 335 level is basically what we couldn't break. And as you can see here, 2 touches here. So this, we have to turn this used to be support, which is now resistance, back into a support. So if Netflix could beat this level here, I'm pretty confident that the next level we have to worry about is 350, right? If it breaks 350, the next level is 360, which is the gap fill. So I'm guessing we may have a little bit of trouble here. We may have trouble with the 350 level. It may not be that easy for Netflix to fill the gap so quickly. As you can see, we've been on a tear in the last 3 days. But let's see, because, you know, China trade negotiations, that might, you know, rally the stock. Then we still have earnings going on, so that also might rally the stock. So I'll be sitting around in this play for a while. And like I said, my profit target is around probably 345, hoping that it gets to the 350 level and fills that gap. Now the second play was TNDM. TNDM is actually one of my favorites. I'll show you exactly why. TNDM follows the rules. TNDM, it respects, you know, support and resistance, and there's certain critical levels that we've seen multiple times in the past that's still strong, and that critical level is 60. So now the stock basically on this, the day before, on Thursday, reached all the way down to 60.79, and then next day it basically tries to break the previous low, or I should say the previous close of the previous day, but it doesn't. It actually bounces back and starts to recover. And that just shows you, as you can see in the past here, this 60 level is no joke. See? So we have this here, we have this here, we scroll down a little bit more, we have this here. So it's been a couple times where this 60 level has been tested. Look at this. We have this here. I have about 4 tests of the 60 level, right? And this is a gap which was filled over here. So you know this is a crazy, this is a critical level, the 60 level on TNDM. So I took the chance. I said to myself, you know what? I seen the rejection. The 60 level never failed us before. I'm going to get in here. The only thing I'm worried about is earnings. So earnings has me worried. You know my rules. I don't like playing through earnings. So most likely on Monday, I may take my profit on TNDM, wait for earnings to go, and then re-enter after earnings, depending on what happens. But right now, let's say earnings was not here. I would basically be able to ride the stock back up to 64.95. If we break 64.95, our next resistance level would be basically 70, 69.70. So TMDM is really good for it. As you can see, look at the size of these bounces that it could basically catch in one day. Look at these rallies, these 3-day rallies. TMDM is definitely good for it. Let's go on to the 5-minute chart here. Right? So this is basically what I saw. So on the 5-minute, boom, we got a test of the previous close, right? Boom, made a low, came back above previous close, back above the 61 support level. Now I'm confident. I'm like, okay, we're back above 61, I'm in, right? Placing my option plays, saying that, you know, we can beat the 62 level by today. You see we got some struggle here, so we went up on a good run. It came back, bounced back up, broke the 62 level. This was a good sign to size up. So if I wasn't worried about earnings next week and you know I was actually able to hold these options for 2-3 weeks to a month as I planned to do, you know, I would have definitely sized up here as we broke the 62 level and then held this until the next day. Or I should say it's the week is Friday, so hold this until Monday. So let's see how Monday opens. Let's see what happens Monday. But basically, I'm still in these 2 plays, and I'm basically up $300. Now putting our account around 3,400. I'll probably place the screenshot. But anyways, that's it for this segment, this day. Like I said, I'm gonna try to remain as consistent as possible with these videos. I know myself, I tend to fall off very quickly. If you have any questions, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know. Contact me on social media any way possible. I'll explain. If you want me to go into detail on any of these concepts, I will. But for now, thank you for watching.